Carl and Brendan here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short, and it is reaction time. Checking out something heavy, something nasty, something mean. It is Cabal with their track Redemption Denied. Of course, this is coming from their brand new album, Everything Rots, out March 21st, 2025 via Nuclear Blast. We had Grubby Mitts on this album early, and one of those rare times where Brendan got in there before me. I had already done a few of the singles in single slams, and I was well aware of it sitting in a certain section of the site. And I was like, okay, I'll get to that in a bit when I'm ready to look at that week. And then it was gone. And I was like, oh, there we go. It happens. It happens. But what are you going to do? Either way, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Cabal as well. I actually haven't. Well, I don't know what what you're saying about this. What you're feeling about this album?
I mean, I can tell you the deal with you, right? So, firstly, I am a big fan of them. The reason I grabbed the album is like because I am a massive fan of these guys. I think they're fucking awesome.
Mm.
The previous album I did as well, and it was like, oh, sweet, another one. Uh, from a review perspective, it's top marks. I gave it the top marks. I absolutely adored it. And in fact, to be honest with you, in a year where I've been struggling a little bit for sort of inspiration within music, I genuinely overall I've been enjoying a lot of music that's coming out and all that sort of stuff, but not feeling that spark all the time. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, sort of like, oh
Mm.
yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good, and just like needing, I don't know, needing something to kind of kick me up the arse a little bit and sort of rejuvenate me. And then that's what this album has done to me in the last few weeks, where it's like, you know, a couple of singles out of it already. Obviously, like you said, you've done them in the single slams, but there's still a whole chunk of music to come out very, very soon as well. So,
Yeah.
and I'm excited for it. And that's probably I know, like it's not the time for conversations about this sort of stuff, but it's one of the moments over the year so far where I've felt a genuine kind of like buzz for something that's coming out. I think it's saturation sometimes, isn't it? Not rather than any
Of
band
course.
doing anything wrong. So yeah, so look, I think it's really, really good. I've always been like the band, I'm not always the biggest fan of things that often have the word hard or core in it. Like, uh, even more so when they combine the two. But but that's not to say that I don't like that genre. I just don't like all of that genre, and it depends on the style. But for some reasons, Cabal, despite the fact that they are extremely heavy, brutal, nasty, all that sort of stuff, like I've always liked them. There's something about them I just really, really sync with, and yeah, Everything Rots is them at their peak, really, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, 10 out of 10. We don't dish them out much, but when they hit us individually, there's a reason why they would give those scores out to certain bands. When the album just fucking hits you in a certain way and nails everything aspect and impresses you so much, it's deserving of that score. I can't, comment on what I would have done aside from the singles I have reviewed. I've enjoyed thoroughly too. They are a band I like too. This particular style of music is where I sometimes get a little bit I was still looking for not stuck. It's oversaturation, basically where everything's so oversaturated that's pulling something out that's spectacular from it is difficult. They can all be great. All bands can be doing great stuff in the core department, whether it be metalcore or deathcore, but actually, standing out enough to get a 10 out of 10, there must be something special. And I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, yeah, and this is obviously. I think probably I'm not going to try and like pre-justify anything or anything like that, but I do think it's like with this style of music sometimes it can be more difficult because obviously when we score something 10 out of 10, we then watch a song from it,
Of course.
and as much as I do Redemption Denied, I think it's an absolute banger, uh, and it is one of the singles that are out like available now. I think it's actually the first single that came out from it. So but you score obviously an album based on the whole kind of piece, don't you? So sometimes
Yes.
when you then play a song and people are like, yeah, that's good, but that's not a 10 out of 10. And you go, well, maybe as an individual it's not, but wait till you hear the whole fucking thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no question. It'd be absurd to sort of question your overall score based off one freaking track because it's a body of work. It's the entire experience. I think I've said to you before. I start my 10 out of 10s and every album starts at 10 out of 10. E.g., you are going into it. Well, this is the best thing ever, and bit by bit, that score gets dropped. Basically, oh, I didn't really like that bit, I didn't like that bit, and stuff like that. Rather than building it up, the idea is for me to go top down more than anything else.
Yeah.
That's how I do it anyway.
but it can also go down and go back up. Like that's what I find sometimes is in like I could get through not because the song's been bad, but maybe because I'm not getting it, I'm not fully understanding everything, and maybe I'm going down to nines and eights. But then by the back half of the album, I'm starting to get it, and the whole thing's starting to tie together. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
the bits where I was losing focus suddenly are refocused, and you know what I mean? So it's not like it's not a straight line, is it? It's never you're here, and you can only kind of either stay there or go down. It is like
Yeah.
like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a graph. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's yeah. We could probably talk for ages about our individual processes in regards to scoring, but you have ultimately given Cabal's new album Everything Rots a 10 out of 10. We are going to check out Redemption Denied to get a little flavor of what that means. So let's do this in three, two, one, go. Straight in.
When all the day spent wasting away, you're still trapped in the cycle of constant decay. You haven't allowed yourself to become a hollow shell, trapped in the living hollow. Can you see that all is well? When I say that to the passage you point off, you have got to follow a breath I say must stop. You turn a blind eye to every problem in your life. What do you think this will never end right? You show yourself that there's a flaw.
That's a bit there, isn't it?
Just to feel alive. Surely going hopeless, just slowing down for it. When all of the events is only ending emptiness. Your balance pain, but the mistakes that you have made. It's time to face the fact that you won't be safe. Your escape has become your okay. You will be lost till the end of your days. So when the grim decision still speaking you, tell me the truth, what are you gonna do? So come, so say, will you bow down or will you rise to your fate? When all I die, wasting away, forever trapped in the cycle of decay. You let everyone you ever loved down. Where they even go, when you let it around. The best you got was never enough. Still stuck, still fucked. Can't escape the rot. The best you got was never enough. Still stuck, still fucked. When the devil stop. The best you got was never enough. Still stuck, still fucked. Can't escape the rot.
Boom!
To the
In
point.
and out, in and out. Oh, started it again. Thought that would be a bad thing. That is such a fucking great track. I mean,
Yeah.
that is so fucking good. Like, to me, it's like, okay, right, you get that, right, so that, you start off and you're just out, and it's just instantly a flurry of what can be best described as chaos. You can pick all the instruments out of chaos. That's the thing. Like, it's messy and fast and insane, but the production job is done. It's good. It really is good because it doesn't sound. It sounds messy, but it doesn't sound messy. You can clearly pick out a flurry of guitars. You can hear those drums. You can hear his vocals. All really, really nice. But I don't think you necessarily get an idea of what the band is aside from that, because all right, he ain't going to sustain that for 3 bloody minutes. So you're kind of waiting for that next kind of kick, and then that initial first sort of drop, and you get that almost like it's here's some groove. Here's that deathcore groove that, oh my god, you can bang your head to. And this is the moment in a live environment where the pit just momentarily slows down and everyone's just doing that, and it sounds so good. But then it continues on to that into what is, I'd argue, a daringly infectious chorus. Like, it shouldn't really have one in a sense that, can you sing along to this? Maybe you shout along, but you can certainly join in based
Yeah.
off the structure of the track. That's really fucking weird, but it's also really clever and inventive. I am all in these days of the more extreme side of metal, finding ways to go, let's appeal to and be more accessible. Let's appeal to a different crowd by having a structure that's still completely and utterly based within chaos and noise and heaviness and speed and all of that. But oh, what's this? We've written a chorus. Oh, shock horror. And a chorus that you could play to, an average person. And even though they'll probably be like, oh, when it hits the chorus, they might be like, oh, well, that's a bit catchy. And they'll say something like that. And it might leave that impression. I love that as well. It goes back again, like it kind of follows that same structure. It does it once and then does it again, where it goes back to that fast, and his vocals in those faster bits. There's a rap element. I know it's not rapping, it's not, but it's a similar kind of thing with the delivery, the speed, the spitting, and all of that kind of thing. I love that, particularly how he's delivered. It sounds so powerful as well at that speed. To still have that depth, that deepness to his voice, very, very clever. It's like. That's like 3 minutes. What was that? 3 minutes and a second. Three that just flew by, like it flies by, and immediately you don't just want to hear it again. You want to hear what comes next. You want to hear what next level of brutality they've got to shove at you, or what next inventive take on deathcore they can expose or show off. You want to see this live. You want to kind of feel the energy and the heat from that. I think that's fabulous. And we were talking before about, can one track show why an album was 10 out of 10? No, it can't. Of course it can't. But that's a damn good example of pointing out, that's an elevation already.
Hint towards it, doesn't it? It hints towards it. You go, okay, well, I just started. I think this is the second track on the album after one at the beginning, which is like under a minute sort of intro thing.
Yep.
So if we were talking about what we were talking about earlier on, you start at a 10, like you're still at a 10 when this song ends. Like, you haven't lost anything here. You're like, okay. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. So
I love that. That's fabulous.
They're such a strong band, and you mentioned at the beginning about obviously with saturation and like what bands have to do to sort of be that shining light and stand out a little bit from the crowd. And I do think Cabal have that in spades, like in abundance. I think there's enough about them, those changes that they can do, and obviously there's talent in there. I love his vocals. I love the depth. I love the rawness, the heaviness of them, but also the fact that he can go up and down in tone a little bit. And like in that chorus there, it doesn't go anywhere near singing or anything like that, but it brings melody into it a little bit. Like there's a melodic tone to his screaming, which probably sounds like a weird thing to say, but there is. Yeah. Musically, the songs are cool. They're structured well. It's interesting. The video's the video. It's kind of what you get with the Journey, busted up old rooms and all that sort of stuff. But the kind of distortion and everything like that, with the anger that he's kind of spitting, it kind of makes sense. You feel it. And when you come to the album, you're talking like they don't do like 9 minute tracks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get, this is the sort of 3.5, 4 kind of minutes is them pushing themselves to the max.
Yeah.
Plus a plethora of guests across I think it's a 12 or 13 track long album that's about 35 minutes long, 35, 36 minutes long. Bands.
And they're all from the heavier side of music as well.
Yeah, you got Viscera, 1056, Nasty, Aviana, Distant, and then obviously a good collection of songs which are just Cabal. But look, Redemption Denied. So first after the intro, the first song that I came to on the album, and I was just like, yeah, these guys are fucking great.
There you go. I totally agree. It's a banger. It's Redemption Denied by Cabal. You got any thoughts on this you want to share? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.